All right, good evening. It is, what is today? February 9th, 2026, 6 p.m. This is the regular board meeting of the Park District of the Grange. We'll start with a roll call this evening.
Commissioner Carter?
Here.
Commissioner Weber?
Here.
Commissioner Posey?
Here.
Commissioner Veer?
Here.
President Opit?
Here. Introduction for this evening. It's a fairly standard agenda. I do want to just recognize that it is Black History Month, so just recognizing that we're celebrating some diversity in the area. There's plenty of activities this month. A lot are run by the community diversity group, so if you have a chance, please attend. I think there might be one adjustment to the agenda, which is I do not believe we'll have anything to approve related to action item 11.1 this evening, so we'll probably scrap that tonight. If something changes, I'll let you know, but there's a strong possibility we will have no votes after any executive session this evening, so just clarifying that. Any other changes to the agenda?
No, but I do have an announcement.
Would you like to have
I
the
would.
mic?
We are very excited to introduce Tim White. He comes to us with a lot of experience. He started as a seasonal in St. Charles, so he has that experience with him, and then he went full-time there, and then he's moved through 3 other park districts, all different sizes, and we are lucky to have him on our team. He also brings a degree in horticulture, and also has an MBA, so we are very excited to have his leadership on the team. Anything you want to say, Tim?
No, just I'm really grateful to be part of the team. I've had a really great first day. I'm really happy to be here. So
he's still here. You know.
That's it.
Yeah, and he will be out of the office the next couple days to get his recertify in his playground certification. But we are very excited to have him on the team. So you guys will get to know him as we go.
All right, welcome, Tim, and sorry for the long first day. I know it's a challenge, but we're glad to have you here.
I'm going to swap you out because this one's red.
Okay.
So I don't want it to go down.
All right, at this point, I would like to open the floor for public comments. This is the first opportunity this evening for public comments, and I think Mike is going to run a mic out there. If there are any public comments, we'll let you introduce yourself, name and address, please.
Good evening. My name is Marion Hanna Wilson. I'm with the Community Diversity Group of LaGrange area, and I just want to thank the Park District of LaGrange for your participation in the Planning Committee for the very successful conference that we had on Saturday, the Building Inclusive Community Conference over at Lyons Township High School. Yeah, it was a great conference, and thank you again for your participation.
Thank you. Any additional comments this evening? Seeing none, we'll move on then. I'll look for a motion to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting dated January 12th, 2026. A motion to approve the minutes of the executive session meeting of January 12th, 2026. Approval of the financial reports dated January 31st, 2026. And approval of the consolidated vouchers for February dated February 9th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Oh,
Brad wins.
okay. Commissioner Posey?
Yes.
Commissioner Carter?
Yes.
Commissioner Weber?
Yes.
Commissioner Veer?
Yes.
President Opit?
Yes. Let's move to agenda item 4.1. We'll start with the director's report this evening.
Okay, thank you. So I just want to highlight a couple of things in my report. We did receive, I know I informed you, but just so the public knows, we did receive another OSLAD grant for Sedwick Park, so we're very excited about that. So that's our 3rd year in a row. So we're up to $1.8 million in OSLAD grants over the past 3 years, which has significantly helped our finance and budget, so it's fantastic. And then I also wanted to make note, sorry, I have a couple other things. If you haven't done your cybersecurity training, please do it. Also, one of the commissioners sent me an email that they received So just use caution when you're opening your email. If you get a DocuSign from HR at PDLG, like we're not sending you any DocuSigns or anything like that. So just make sure you're not clicking in anything that you're suspicious of. If it is suspicious, feel free to send it to me or, call me and let me know. There's a lot of good, phishing emails and spoofing out there. So just use your judgment. And if you ever think that it's not right, don't open it. Again, I would never send you a DocuSign without saying, hey, this is coming your way. Most of that stuff has to be approved at the board meeting anyway. So again, we just ask that you check your email carefully. The community center grand opening is going to be this Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. And then it'll be closed for the Lacy family to celebrate on their own from 5 p.m. on. I did want to let the board know, this was in my report, but Davis trees will be in our parks again the week of February 23rd. That's what's scheduled right now, pending any weather delays or anything like that. We'll post it on social media. Tim is going to be meeting with them next week just to go through, expectations and those type of items. This is just our regular pruning. And then one of the things that we will be talking about a little bit is tonight we're going to talk about some of the affiliate fees proposal. But one thing I wanted to also mention, as we've received more funding for the referendum, we are looking at different projects that can or maybe didn't make it into the plan, but now maybe can make it into the plan. They were in the original proposal or got pulled. So we're looking at what can be added, and we're getting that proposal together, and we'll have that hopefully next month for the board. But with that said, some of the proposals include potentially more work at Gordon Park, and that would be regrading fields. And we are talking that we're not sure that bringing Country Jam back this year would be the best idea if we're going to continue to have work within the parks. And so we are looking at postponing that one more year. We were talking about maybe trying to have a smaller event at Denning Park, but then we realized there's going to be construction with the bathrooms and there'll be grass reestablishing there. So we're just kind of putting that on pause for one more year. We'll still have our signature events. Kevin, do you have anything to add on that?
So we'll still be doing Touch a Truck in July, and then working with staff on a couple small scale events, just kind of fill the gap this summer.
Yeah. So we just want to make the board aware that, again, we feel it's the best interest to make sure all the funding that we're putting into the parks gets reestablished and taken care of. So I'm happy to answer questions on that. If there's no questions on that, we can kind of jump into the affiliate fee discussion. So I gave everybody a handout, and it kind of had the information that we discussed last month on the first page, and then when you flip the page over, it kind of has the proposed rental rates. And I'm going to let Jamie and Kevin kind of jump into this because they've been doing most of the work on it.
So thank you, Jenny. So as Jenny was saying, the second page has the rental rates that we are proposing based on the cost recovery analysis that was run. That included a lot of factors such as the direct costs, the overhead costs, as well as some indirect costs. And then I worked very closely with Kevin. We kind of looked at other close localities and what they offered for field space, green space for the purposes of what we're comparing it to here at PDLG. Kevin has some hard figures on those, but when we look at everything from a cost recovery and a future planning for capital projects and things of that nature, that's kind of where we fell on the base rates. And then premium rates are designated as Saturdays and Sundays, which tend to be typically more utilized for games. And then we do have that subsidiary category of add-on, which would be lights. So we kept, as Jenny was saying prior to the meeting, kind of as a note, we kept the soccer rates for lights the same as it is currently in our agreements at $1 per minute. And then we have broken out the rates for the baseball, softball rates, depending on what bucket, if you fall into affiliate resident or non-resident. happy to go into more detail. Kevin, like I said, has some numbers if you want to talk about any of it, or we'd be happy to entertain any questions that the board may have.
Well, and just to, I don't know who heard before the meeting, we were talking a little bit about it. The current rates, the question was asked, what are the current rates? The current rates are $6 for small fields and $12 for large fields. So that's what we're currently charging, and the light structure is similar.
Correct. So the $6 per field, that is regardless of affiliate resident, non-resident?
No.
Flat 6?
Sorry, I should. What do you have what the Celtics pay? Because
So
I guess you're right.
So it is
Sorry.
$6 for all fields except for 11v11, which is Sedwick, Maine, and Gordon, Maine. They're $12 for that field. LTSC and Celtics pay $13 for the smaller field, $20 for the larger field.
So, and we're no longer, the recommendation is to no longer distinguish between classes, like
Tiers.
quote unquote tiers or classes. So this is an across the board affiliate rate. You fall into the affiliate category, fall into the resident category. Okay. And then my other question is there any anticipated increase from, like a 3% increase after 3 years, or are we keeping these rates flat indefinitely?
Well,
Okay, go ahead.
that's something we're still working through. We definitely want to put in an increase of CPI annually. And then, there might be another clause in the agreement that states, like, if for some reason something significantly jumps, we may have to adjust it more than CPI. We can look at a cap, kind of like the tax levy, right?
Yeah.
But, CPI has been high, right? But it is getting back down. But we feel like if we do it by CPI every year, it'll put us in a really good space because it'll be so incremental. But over 3 years, instead of waiting 3 years and then being like, okay, we're doing $10.
Yeah.
So we do feel like the CPI will be enough to kind of get us to where we need to be. Anything I missed there?
No, I was just going to make the comment. Jenny had said CPI has been decreasing. So for reference, this year CPI is sitting at 2.9%. Last year was sitting at 3.4%, and the year before that it was slightly higher as well. So CPI has been trending down, and statistics show that it'll probably level off right around that 2 to 3%
Yeah.
So we're not talking anything drastic like we had seen a few years back when CPI was sitting at like 6.9, 7.3. Market trends are not showing that it should trend that high for quite some time. So
Okay.
Can I take a step back just for a second? The overall budget for this year, not for this, but for the Park District, is roughly, do you have a number in mind?
operating budget,
The whole budget, operating budget.
not including a referendum, we're sitting at about 7.2 million.
Okay, so 7.2 million, and then the tax dollars we bring in is about, is it 2? Is it? It depends on who's paying and when.
Yeah, it's about.
What's it supposed to be? What's the tax revenue supposed to be or projected to be this year?
Projected to be and supposed to be are very variable. You'll see it in my report.
Sure.
However, right around 2.75 million this year.
Okay. And to operate this building costs us roughly.
When you say operate, that's a very broad term. Are we talking like overhead costs or programming?
Yes. Yes. No, I think the point I'm trying to make is my understanding when I look at the budget is a large amount of our budget of that 7.2 or even the 2.7 for that matter goes to pay for the building, standard cutting grass, and employee salaries.
Correct.
And what I want to make sure the public understands is a lot of these affiliate groups seem to want a service and a feel that is maybe above what would be Park District standard in terms of maintaining the facility. They want something really nice. So when people come and say, well, just find money to make this happen, there's a real challenge here.
Correct.
And what I understand too is as you were doing this analysis, the goal here is not to just put a fee at a level where it's just like we're making all this money. It's to make a field that's appropriate for the kids to play in and that people can be happy with and maybe meets a standard that is slightly better than somebody cutting grass once a week. That's my understanding of the purpose of this discussion we're having
to
now.
make sure we're at least covering costs that it is taking to maintain, because when you start looking at what the cost recovery rate is versus what we're getting in some of the fees that we're currently charging, that needle is very far off. When you
Okay.
start looking at what we're charging is $6 when I'm telling you at this point in time, cost of recovery is sitting at almost $21. So, that kind of helps put things in perspective a little bit, hopefully.
And they did include like the new bathrooms that are coming. Those have to be cleaned. They have to be stocked with toilet paper. So all those items have been added into. So we're not just looking at, what we have been doing. We're projecting for the future too. And again,
Right. Irrigation.
Yeah,
as well.
irrigation, water, lights. We talked about, the new lighting that we need. Those are $500,000, So we've worked in capital into that too.
Have we talked to our affiliates about any of this before we're approving it?
We're not approving it tonight,
Okay.
but Kevin, I know you've had conversations.
I had a meeting with the 3 soccer groups at the end of January to go over our spring allocations for field space, and I did give them the heads up that this was coming for spring 2027, and that we would be discussing this at the board level with the staff, and we try to get them information sooner than later because AYSO starts their registration for the fall season in May, and then Celtics and LTSC start their registration in March. So we want to give them as much time as possible to, if they have to adjust fees on their end for registration, since they start that this spring, and that covers the next year essentially from now, that we would do that. We also told them all that the tier system was going away, and then going forward we'd be doing exactly what we did that day, was sitting down in the room, what do you guys need for space, and we hash it out amongst the 4 parties.
And so the plan tonight, just so everybody's aware, is to kind of get consensus if we're comfortable with these fees, so we can start then talking to the affiliates so they have enough time to, adjust or make changes to their registration. So tonight we're not approving anything. We're looking for consensus on these proposed fees so we can start moving forward with the agreements and working with the affiliates, and then we'll bring the agreements back to the board to approve.
So on the soccer fields, you don't have difference in price for different size fields. Is it going to be the same?
Correct. So when you start looking at costs for materials and supplies, we're looking at total. We're not breaking it down by field. We did do a cost analysis per field, per man hours. But the costs that you are seeing are reflected of total hours that we have currently rented to baseball, softball, t-ball entities, and currently rented to soccer entities. So we take the total amount of dollars and hours that were spent on those fields, those rental hours, to give one flat rate. This way we're kind of getting away from 5v5 is $2 less, 7v7 is $2 more. So we looked at it from a whole perspective of costs for upkeeping the sport field, specific sport field, as well as the rental hours for those sport fields.
I will say too, and Kevin can speak to this better than I can, but they'll utilize an 11v11 for 2, maybe I'm going to say this wrong, 5v5s or 7v7. So it becomes very challenging when they're renting one and then they're like, no, we're going to use it as 2 5v5s though. So they're constantly changing the use of maybe a larger field to 2 smaller fields. And so that was another reason why we felt keeping it all one fee is just easier that way.
So when AYSO has 8 soccer games going on every hour for 3 hours on Saturday at Gordon Park, is that 2 soccer fields? Are they being charged? Are they being charged 8 soccer fields? What is that?
There's 3 soccer properties at Gordon. There's Gordon Main, which is the northwest side. There's Gordon Northeast, which is beyond the softball fields on the north end of the property.
Yeah.
And then the softball fields. So they get charged a rate for all 3 properties.
So the softball fields, I think, is what you're talking about. They put many soccer fields out there. They're just going to get charged the one rate for all those.
Okay. Per hour.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as lining many fields in that one area, that's not an issue?
How so? I
Well, if
mean,
they put like 4 fields in between the softball fields, instead of just one big one.
they've always, as far as I know, they've
Yeah,
always
I
used it for the little
They'll
kids.
make multiple 5v5,
Yeah.
what they call microfields
Yeah.
for the younger kids.
Yeah.
And this is pretty standard because we don't, only true soccer fields Gordon, Maine. So even with that, they will make 2 7v7s going east-west on that field. And then similarly with Gilbert, that's really a 9v9 field, but depending what that field condition is, they go back and forth every few years with 9v9 or 7v7 just to help restore some of those grass areas.
I mean, that's still one field at Gilbert.
That's correct.
Okay, and Denning, we have,
Then we have the middle of the property, which is considered a 5v5 when we rent it to them. And then with referendum projects, we'll have the new 9v9 there.
So the field sizes are changing constantly
well,
too.
Yeah. So the smaller one at Denning and the smaller one at Gilbert will be the same price as the full field at Gordon. And then on the baseball, you have the baseball, that doesn't include the Little League, it just includes the new field?
It includes the new field and the 2 softball fields at Gordon.
At Gordon, yeah.
And then the T-ball field. So there's 2 T-ball fields at Wyola, and then Gilbert will be going down from 2 to 1 T-ball field. Yes.
So the T-ball field at Wyola will be the same price as the big field at Gordon?
No, there's a separate T-ball field. We did do a separate T-ball field.
Okay, but that's not in here.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is.
It's
Second table.
Yeah.
Second table, T-ball, $20.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So that one we did because that one there is less maintenance and less fencing and less
Let's tear.
yes there. Yes.
So I just have a follow-up question relating to the soccer affiliates. The field rates, does that include the practice time? Because they're using more than just a field.
Yes, so the base rates would be their practice time, so the $25 an hour, and the premium rates would be their games on Saturdays and Sundays.
Got it. Okay.
And how do you get to the premium rates compared to the normal rates?
Well, depending on how things look at the end of the week, our parks team will do extra mowing on Fridays to ensure that the grass is the appropriate length for games. With us taking on striping, that means you're going to have to stripe potentially twice a week now, or depending how Tim and his crew work this out going forward, there's extra stuff they need to do to get those fields game ready as opposed to a practice.
So what you're saying is you base it more on the maintenance cost than
That's
the
correct.
supply and demand cost?
That's correct.
No, there's a demand too.
I know, but I mean,
Yeah.
is that based on maintenance or?
Yes.
It's both. It's based on both, I would say. You know, they all want Saturday morning or Sunday morning.
The
You
same
know,
time?
yes, they do. So
Can I assume, I mean, we don't really have, other than our own intro program for like flag football. If we had anybody come to us about flag football or lacrosse or something else that's a field, I'll say turf field based sport, are they paying the soccer rate or what's going on there?
So lacrosse would be a good example. Lacrosse would pay the soccer rate.
Okay.
And then we'll also have that new field at
That's such a
Sedgwick.
yeah,
And that field's not lit.
no, it can't be because of the contamination.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
we can't. Yeah.
So then we'll have 2 fields at Sedgwick, 3 at Gordon.
2.75.
Okay. And then kind of 2 at Denning,
2 at Denning
1 at Gilbert,
correct.
and Wyola.
and yeah, well, okay.
So the other thing I want to make sure I understand is, okay, so we're increasing the cost, right? But what I heard is we're increasing the services that we provide in the form of at least possibly 2 cuts a week. And we're going to take over striping for all sports, or what's the plan there?
We already do it for baseball fields.
Okay.
The outfield,
For the outfield.
the foul
So
ball
anything that
lines.
is
We don't
spray
chalk
painted.
the infield.
For the Babe Ruth program, we do all of it, chalk and spray paint for the lines. And then we'll be taking on the soccer currently from AYSO.
And we are looking to invest in, and again, this would be for 2027. So we have time to adjust, and we are looking at budgeting for a turbo tank or tiny tank, which is a GPS run machine that can paint the lines. So staff can still be working, but doing other things while the lines are being striped. So there's tools that we can use, and again, it helps us be able to maintain the fields better because we can move the fields a little bit, move the mouth goals. Right now, that's some of the attention to detail. While they do the best they can, we can make sure it's getting done properly. And then with Little League, Sedwick A and B fields, they're still investing into those fields. So these rates don't apply to Sedgwick A and B, but they've been asking us to do more and more, which we're happy to do. But if it's an extra service that's kind of not in the agreement right now, we say we can absolutely do that. It's going to cost this amount of money, and they'll either say yes or no or hire a contractor. And that's been working really well so far. I will say they do want us to hand mow the infields. We do not have time to hand mow the infields. That's just something we don't have time to do. So we can absolutely mow the infields, but it would be with our machines. And so we're still kind of working through those, what that looks like this year too, because their main guy stepping down, Jeff Foss, has done an amazing job. So.
So I think we're looking for a consensus. Is everybody kind of okay with this direction, or where are we landing?
Where does this leave us cost-wise compared to other avenues that these places can go to? Or aren't there that many?
So I have Western Springs and LaGrange Park's fees for you for 2026. For baseball for Western Springs, depending on the age, they charge a per player fee of $5.82 or $11.12.
Per player?
That's per player.
Per year or per what?
Per season.
Per season, okay.
They have a travel baseball affiliate called the Crush. They charge them $46.05 per hour.
So that's not an affiliate, but it's like a rental outside their Western Springs area, or?
Correct. That is a Western Springs-based in-house travel team. They fall in line with the Celtics and LTSC in this format. They are charged $46.05 per hour when they rent in Western Springs. AYSO, depending on the field size, is charged $5.61 per hour, $11.24 per hour, or $13.49 per hour. Across the board, they charge $35 an hour for lights. And then for the Community Park District of LaGrange Park, for their Little League program, they charge $17 per player per season. And then they charge them the actual invoice that is for the lights. So whatever they are billed, that's what they pay. They have also a affiliate travel baseball program called the Bandits. They are charged two different player fees. They are charged $35 per player for maintenance of the fields and $15 per player for registration, for a total of $50 per player. They do not recognize AYSO, Celtics, or LTSC as affiliates. They do not have agreements with them. So they are charged the $35 an hour resident rate for a 2-hour block.
And we did explore the per player fee. The challenge we had with that is when we first started, and I wish I would have looked these numbers up if I could have found them. But when we were talking to Little League about implementing fees at Gordon, they were booking hundreds of hours of rental time and using it like a quarter of it. And so the per player fee doesn't avoid that block booking, blanket booking. And so that's why we decided to do the per hour rate to make sure that they're using kind of what they're using and not just blanket booking when you're doing it the per player fee.
So it's hard to compare apples to oranges here.
Kind of what I got out of that is
Are you
we really don't know what
feeling?
they're charging.
Are we feeling this is more or less the same, or what? I guess.
No, I mean, the numbers for baseball is, it's not that many players when you do the math versus the amount of, I think the best comparison would be to the AYSO. A soccer game is an hour, right? So it's still $6 an hour for a small field in Western Springs, and we're going to go to $25 an hour, or 40. Premium, $32 an hour. So AYSO cost, that's a significant increase for their cost, which I think is, if that's what we need to do, that's what we need to do. So I'm okay with proceeding with this plan as long as we're fair and talk with our affiliates. That's my thought.
I guess my thought is that it's one, I think that it's a course correction and an adjustment from maybe some deferred maintenance in years where it probably wasn't in alignment with the work that was being done given our limited resources. And the parks are also not just for the affiliates, so there's like additional costs in maintaining it beyond the affiliates. The affiliates are using it, I would, harder probably than the public. So I appreciate the data and the detail, and that what this tells me is that you weren't looking just at our immediate costs, it wasn't created in a vacuum is the message that I'm getting, is that it was evaluated against these other programs. So while I'm also sensitive to the increase to our affiliates, and I agree that we need to get their thoughts on it and get their perspectives before we sign off on everything, I'm comfortable with the analysis here.
That's what we're looking for. Again, because we'll go into developing the contracts now, or affiliate agreements, and those have to be approved by the board. And we put together the agreement, we send it to the affiliates. They say we got problems with this, or we want to change this, and then we try to work as a team to bring it to the board.
I just want to add, and I'm going to look to Tim. I know this is fire in your first night, right? We've had years of feedback from some of our affiliate groups about the quality of our fields, and a lot of it has come from some of our soccer affiliates who have mentioned holes and ruts and uneven fields, and rightly so. They've said, we need to do better. And I think if we look at this as an opportunity to do better, that's great. But then we have to be accountable for that, and we have to expect that the staff delivers, on that increased level of quality. So I'm also okay with the increase, but I want to make sure that we as an organization can commit to deliver, what's expected.
I'm not sure Tim can answer that tonight, but him and I have had many conversations today. We've talked about this. And, I think it's, as him and I talked about, like this year we're only going to have 4 fields open. And he has extensive knowledge in, like, trust me, we drilled him in the interview, and he was talking about all sorts of chemicals or not chemicals, the symbols and chlorophyll, all sorts of stuff. So he really knows what he's doing, tries to use the safest products, but really has a good handle on it. So we really feel like we're in a really good position to move forward here.
So just say, thank you. I'm confident that I can make your field look great. And I've gone through other districts that have gone through the process of trying to evaluate the costs associated with what the district directly and indirectly does. And the process here is a level of detail that you probably wouldn't see in other districts. And it's a really good, you've got precision and accuracy. And I think it looks like these numbers are in line with what it costs to make fields look good. So.
And, I will say, like, where we're at right now, we are subsidizing these affiliate groups. And if we continue to subsidize them, then in 20, 25 years, they're going to be in the same position and having to go back out for another referendum or find funding because we can't sustain the subsidy.
So I'm hearing consensus. Are we ready to move on to the next item?
Yes.
Okay.
I want to hear a yes from everybody.
Yes, from everybody.
I was just thinking that if whatever rates we put in place, I think we should put something that if they're acquired by private equity, we reserve the right to relook at their deals.
They would no longer be an affiliate. And that's one of the things that's getting challenging now is they're an affiliate, but some of them are recreation. The recreation programs do have travel, and trying to right now our affiliated groups say it's for recreation only, but they're paying a tier 1, but they're really using it for travel. We have no way to figure out who's using it for travel and who's using it for rec. So by doing these rates, one rate, it's easier to track. So. Okay, well, we will start working with the affiliates and working on those agreements, and we'll get them to the board when they're ready, but hopefully sooner than later.
This is for effect in 2027.
That is correct. So, okay, well, that was just my report. Any questions? Otherwise, we can.
Not really, because they have to,
Well, they'll give us feedback next year.
no, we have to lock in.
For May.
Yeah, well, like they're March, because that's when tryouts are.
All right. I think we're ready to discuss finance, so I'll pass it over to Jamie.
In addition to what's in my board report, I did just want to let the board know that I did receive correspondence from Maria Pappas from the Cook County Treasurer's Office. So as you see in my report, for the month of January, the district did receive a little over $713,000 in property tax distributions. However, I still do not have any information as to what taxing year these are from. Correspondence from the treasurer has said we should, as district, should be receiving that information within 3 weeks. So let's keep that 3 week loosely kind of pinned. I'm hoping that we have it by the end of February, and if so, I will definitely update the board in my next board report. On the heels of that, I just wanted to make the board as well as the public aware. The tax year 2025 first installment, the deadline for that has been pushed back. It's only been pushed back to April 1 of 2026. Normally it's March 1 every year. So we're being told that it is a one-time change that was approved at the beginning of the year by the state. So we're hoping that this 1 month delay for 2025 tax levy distributions is just that, a one-time delay. And if there are any more updates, I will definitely keep the board abreast of that.
Cash flow wise, we're still okay?
Yes.
Okay.
We did receive, which you'll see in my next report, I think it was either February 1st or February 2nd, we did receive just under $1 million in tax distributions again. But again, I don't know what tax year those are for. But money nonetheless is coming in, so we are sitting okay.
Okay. Any further questions? All right, let's move on to Kevin and we'll talk about recreation.
So we also have a new team member join us last week, Bianca Galicia. She's our new recreation supervisor, overseeing teens, adults, trips, seniors, 2 of our summer camps, and then she's helping out with hiring, recruitments, and training our base staff. So weekend, she's already hit the ground running. She's done a lot of great things in 6 days. So we're excited to have her on our team. A couple things to highlight in my report quickly. Staff is currently working on the summer brochure. That is going to go online on March 16th, with the resident registration opening up on March 25th. We have summer camp registration for residents opening up next Wednesday, the 18th. Currently working with Novatech, our IT company, to ensure help mitigate any potential issues with website crashes, online traffic, things of that nature. And then preschool registration is slated to open on March 11th for residents. And then the last thing I wanted to highlight was we are in the process of working with Prolific, who we hired to redesign our website. So we're working on site mapping, content migration, RecTrack API. We're meeting pretty much weekly at this point. Things are going well. So at some point later in 2026, we should have that new site live.
Questions for Kevin?
The MLS GO.
Yeah, so while our athletic supervisor, Liam Seiss, has successfully obtained a contract with MLS GO, so we will have a summer league, only a summer league. We did require the blessing from AYSO, and we did receive that from Derek. He let us know that. So we're all set for that. So we'll have a league this summer for 4 to 6-year-olds and 7 to 8-year-olds.
So that's a different season?
Yes, so that would be a summer
Summer
season.
season.
It does not conflict with any of the soccer affiliates. And that was one of the big things with MLS GO. They wanted to ensure this is nationwide. They need AYSO's blessing, so there's no competition amongst parties.
Good. Sounds great. And you get uniforms too.
They do.
Nice.
And then with that, this is not in here. I just found this out 2 hours ago. It looks like we're going to get the approval and contract to offer NHL Street. So that came to Liam today.
Did you say NHL Street?
NHL Street, so it's the same vein, but it's floor hockey for outdoors.
So they'll use the multi-sport
That is
courts. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Is
That
it-
required the Chicago Blackhawks approval, and it looks like we got it. They were not initially going to, but he had a meeting with them a couple weeks ago. And so far, so good.
Is that with rollerblades?
No,
Just walking?
Yep, just shoes.
They do that too.
That sounds dangerous.
Never do
I do.
And what age group is that targeting by chance? The NHL?
That we haven't solidified.
Okay.
But in preliminary discussions, we talked about pretty much 6 to 12s to start.
6 to 12. Okay.
And then based on interest, we can go up from there.
And when would we do that this summer or is that a next summer
No,
thing?
so that'd be a next summer.
Next summer thing. Okay.
I wish I had that when I was a kid. That would be cool.
You look 12.
Yeah.
They need coaches. I'm sure they need coaches, Bob.
I know you'll be coaching.
Super.
Any other questions for Kevin? All right, seeing none, let's move on to Mike to talk about facilities and operations.
Good evening, everybody. So a couple of things I just wanted to highlight from my report. We'll start with fitness. So we had another successful January. We did run a promotion in January that was focused on half-off day passes for both drop-ins to the fitness center and also group fitness classes. We had 97 drop-ins for the month. That's in comparison to 62 we had in 2025 in January. So that was a good success. And then part two of that was group training packages. So before we had ran promotions for just regular personal training, this would be group trainings of 2 or more people. We sold 7 of those packages and brought in just over $1,800. So consider that a nice successful January. The other thing I wanted to highlight too is if you guys remember from last month, our insurance-based numbers were a little bit low. And that's because their passes all expired at the end of December, the end of the calendar year. We were sitting at about 250 there last January, or this past January, and then, or December, excuse me. Now we're up to, in February, at 532. So it's slowly creeping back up. We hope to get up back to around 700 or so. We'll see where we go as we continue. And then the other thing with group fitness, I wanted to mention that we did start the process of transitioning the program in-house from a contract-based setup that we had previously. So we will look on bringing all those instructors in as Park District employees. That would be slated to start in early spring around May 1. Another highlight then for fitness was that we ran a successful Alzheimer's risk reduction fitness workshop that brought in 12 participants earlier this month on February 2nd. So that was another successful highlight for this recently. As far as rentals go, then we are going to kind of in conjunction of what Kevin was talking about with field rates being evaluated for residents and non-residents. To go off of that too, we will be looking at shelter fees and then open space fees as well. Hopefully we'll get those numbers evaluated for the next meeting. And then finally, just a reminder, we have the Community Center, Lacy Community Center grand opening on Friday, so we're looking forward to that. And that should be a pleasant time. Happy to answer any questions anybody has.
All right, seeing none. Tim, I know you don't have a report. Is there anything additional you wanted to say this evening? I'll just give you a chance if you have anything, and if not, that's totally fine.
Nope, just excited for spring. We're just waiting.
Great. Great. Yeah. All right, let's move on and go to action items. So first, we will start with discussion and/or approval of Ordinance 02601, an ordinance adopting the Personnel Policy Manual amended and restated as of February 9, 2026 for the Park District of Grange. Everybody got this amazing packet. I hope you read it cover to cover. I'll let you introduce this.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not gonna go into each policy. We would be here forever. I'm happy to answer any questions. Again, we worked closely with HR Source and went through. This was a full review of our policies. They were a little bit dated in language, and so we wanted a fresh set of eyes on them. We have been having them reviewed by Ansel Glink, but we thought it'd be a good idea to go to HR Source this time just to change it up and make sure we're not missing anything. They did add a bunch of good additions to the policy, so we're happy with that. I know in policy 232.2, we did mistakenly take an E off of employee. Thank you, President Opit, for pointing that out. So we will add that E back in. But I'm happy to answer any questions if you have questions on the policies. Otherwise, we would be looking for an approval of the ordinance.
I found one.
What'd you get?
Is this a word? Re-question?
Re-question. What page are you on?
234.4.
234. No, it doesn't sound like it.
Requisition? No.
What?
Request.
What?
Yeah, that's a typo.
Yeah.
What?
I found one.
Win chicken dinner.
You win. You read it. You win. What page is that on?
69. But congratulations on getting through that. I know it's not a fun job, and it looks very thorough, and
Where exactly?
it's on the highlighted request, right, highlighted part.
Oh, it's funny, I did see that. I saw that today, and I think it was approved that way last time, because I was looking at the old policy.
Oh, that's probably.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah,
So it's supposed to be requesting.
or quit.
When requesting,
I think so.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll get that fixed. Note that, Madonna. Okay, well, if there's.
That's a lot of work, though.
It was a lot of work, but it's worth it to get them all tidied up and looking good.
There's a lot of work to do through it.
I know.
Not even to write it.
No, that sounds like 2 trees, too.
Well, we normally do a pretty thorough review every year, but just update like the laws that need to be updated. But every few years, we like to do just a thorough, comprehensive review. So
So in my time, that's the most comprehensive review I've ever seen.
really,
Yeah.
Okay. Well, sorry about that.
I think it had to be done.
Yeah.
You should make the motion.
Yeah, so I need a motion to approve the ordinance 02601, an ordinance adopting the personal policy manual as amended, restated February 9th, 2026.
So moved.
Sorry, I want to add one thing to. Sorry. I did make one slight change, and it was I did put it in the memo. So it's for our bring your own device. I was supposed to take it out before I sent it to you. We do not have the ability the policy currently states we can delete items from their own device remotely. We do not have that ability. We could if we implemented a software, but we are not doing that at this time, so we want to remove the word remotely.
Right.
So I just want to make sure, because it was in there.
Leaving that word in case we can
Well,
do it before.
if we remove it, we can still do it. It just says we have the right to, remove items. It can be remotely or not remotely, but by putting it in remotely, it right now says we have the ability to, and we don't. So we're just going to take the word remotely out.
So moved with
Sorry.
3
Removal.
amendments, yeah.
the amendment removing remotely on, what item is that?
Section 846.
Section 846.
Mm-hmm. And then it would be 232.2,
232.2.
and then what was yours?
Oh, that's just the change of word of
Yeah,
question.
that I don't think. I mean, those two are just words.
No, wait.
So
I'm not worried about the
Yeah, I'm
text.
not.
Typo, it's not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just typos. So okay. So Veer.
I moved it.
Okay.
Second,
Okay. Commissioner Veer.
Yes.
Commissioner Posey.
yes.
Commissioner Weber.
Yes.
Commissioner Carter.
Yes.
President Opit.
Yes.
Could I bring up a topic relating to the policy a little bit?
Sure.
It's kind of more for the commissioners.
Okay.
So there are locations that give a little financial incentive to commissioners, and I was wondering if there may be something where a commissioner can benefit from a membership of some sort in the future, or it doesn't have to be discussed at this policy time.
I understand what you're saying.
But it might be a nice perk to get, some of us will be leaving, and it will entice others to come maybe.
I understand what you're saying. And there are districts, you're an attorney, so maybe you can answer it. I think districts look at it differently and the amount, but we can absolutely look into it.
Incentives for,
Like a free fitness membership,
Yeah. Just a little
or a
enticement
free open gym membership.
to replace us
or-
when we leave.
You're not leaving, so it's fine. 4 more years. So yes, we can talk to, because you just have to make sure you do it properly. There's certain
and not
Like-
perpetually.
legalities. So it's absolutely something we can
But
look into.
sometime in the future, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Right.
Trustee from the Grange.
Let's move on to 5.2, discussion and/or approval of temporary construction license for LaGrange Little League Sedwick Park.
Okay, so again, this is one of the reasons why we don't charge fees to Little League. This is really just their spring maintenance cleanup this year that they're looking to do. So there were 2 exhibits attached to the temporary construction license, one in the amount of $19,000 and one in the amount of $6,200. So they would invest those funds into the field and follow all the guidelines within the temporary construction license. This is something that we've done regularly with them, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
When is the work taking place?
It'll be done in the spring.
In the spring, okay.
Yeah, it'll be done in the spring, probably in March or
March.
early April. We're hoping they can have it done before we start our work. But again, it's field maintenance, so I'm not as concerned with that going on with the other maintenance.
I'll just say, based on their willingness to put out this sort of money for their fields and the quality that Simmons has done in the past, I would be all for it.
Okay.
So I'm looking for someone to make a motion to approve that temporary construction license.
I move to approve the Simmons Landscaping Field Maintenance Services for Sedwick Park in the amount of $6,200 per estimate number 0010504 and $19,000 per estimate number 0010557 as presented for a total cost of $25,200.
Second.
I'm going Weber this
Yeah,
time.
go.
Commissioner Posey,
Yes.
Commissioner Weber,
Yes.
Commissioner Carter,
Yes.
Commissioner Veer,
Yes.
President Ogle.
Yes, and thank you again to the Little League for making those investments in our field. We always appreciate it. Let's move on. Let's see, board business, old business, and new business. I think is there anything we need to discuss here?
I do just want to bring up, I forgot to bring this up when we were talking about kind of the Little League affiliate fees. I'm going to send you these proofs. These are not banners, they're signs. I need to find out what the material is, but it's a hard sign that they're looking to put 3 of these up in a 5x7. They're pretty large above the batting cages. So the batting cages outside of their field, they would put them on the top so it wouldn't restrict vision to the batting cages. But I would like the commissioners to look at them and we can talk about it next week, or you can reply to the email your thoughts on the signs that they want to do. So these are the mock-ups they have for us. So, and their intention is to kind of add to it. So there is right now our current agreement kind of restricts signage and things like that. Like, it is still a park district property while we, invite Little League to be there. There are certain number of signage that should be in the park based on their agreement. And I just want to talk about maybe how much signage should be in the park, how big, maybe some of those type of things. So I'm going to send these for everybody to kind of review and take a look at them. And then you can either respond to me via email or give me a call if you want to talk about it further. So I will send those out.
And will you specify where they want to put them?
Yeah, they're on the batting cages, but I can send a picture of it and where it would be. But they're 5x7s.
5 foot by 7 foot.
Correct. So they're very large. Very large. So, but again, we don't need to just, I want to give you time to look at them and process it. So, and I'll send that out tomorrow.
So when you say batting cages, you're saying the ones kind of in the middle towards the east of the park?
Yes.
They're not very visible usually.
No, they're behind the field, yes. Yeah. Yes. So. Sorry, Madonna, not making these minutes easy for you tonight.
Okay, no further business there. We'll move on to committee reports. Any update from the administration committee?
No, at this time.
Parks and Facilities Committee? Recreation and Cultural Programming Committee?
None.
All right. This will be the second opportunity for public comments this evening. So again, we'll open the floor if anybody would like to say anything. You feel obligated?
I just have thoughts while you guys are
talking, I might as well say.
She's gonna be happy about something, I think.
No, Rose Nassif, 911 South Stone Avenue, LaGrange. I guess you were talking about the organized sports and the use of the fields and how to charge. I guess I feel renting a larger field, even though there's fixed costs with maintenance, when organized teams are using the sports field, that's an opportunity cost, right? So there's somebody that can't use that, or there's trees that can't be grown there, et cetera, et cetera. So I think the space, in my mind, makes sense. Maybe it's not double the amount, but, there's a lot that goes into determining those prices. I am aware, but in my mind, it might make a little bit of sense. And I guess I just would like to introduce myself. I'm mainly concerned with environmental issues. My kids played soccer, I played softball, I appreciate organized sports, but I also know that every time you expand a path or consider synthetic turf, which I'm not a fan of, you're taking away other native plants, bushes, trees that might have higher ecosystem services and values. So that's generally my angle. Yeah, thanks.
No way, that's your angle?
My angle is don't do it.
Thanks,
I feel the same way. I'm very conscious of what we're doing to our environment and what we're exposing kids to. And at one point I was a King County certified naturalist. I love natives, and so it's good to hear.
Thanks, great.
Thank you, Rose. I think now we'll go to 9.0 board comments. Anybody like to start with a comment this evening?
Sure, I have two. First of all, Rose, thank you for being our environmental conscience of the community and coming here. This is not, I'm sure there's all kinds of other things that you could be doing, but I appreciate you coming here every month and having thoughtful comments and bringing your clear love of the environment to these meetings. And I learned some things from you, so I appreciate you making the time to come here. And then I also really want to applaud Jenny and her team for landing a third OSLAD grant. And for the public, it is, and maybe for the board, it is it is a massive undertaking to write a grant proposal, and to do it 3 times within 3 years is really extraordinary. And the public, this is yet another example of the quiet work that takes place behind the scenes, the quiet, methodical work that takes place behind the scenes that the public will never know about or never thank you for, but they will enjoy it when they're playing in the parks for years to come. So I think it's just really a tremendous win for the Park District. So thanks.
Thank you, Stephanie.
All right, so since you gave Rose a shout out, I have to give Marion a shout out. We have our environmental conscious and our social conscious. So we had the IPRA and all the other initials they use had a meeting last weekend that some of us are fortunate to go to and see most of the staff members there. Very informative, and it was actually kind of fun. We saw quite a few things like your line machine.
Tiny robot.
GPS.
Yeah.
If you get a chance, actually, you were there.
I was there.
Yeah. If you get a chance, it's worth going. Even as a participant in the Park District, it might be interesting. Came up with some guys. Brian shared a nice, interesting idea with the climbing wall. I was on board. But yeah, I want to thank. It was fun. It was the dinner by our legal team was actually a lot of fun too, and had some good conversations. So
Yeah.
I just want to mention that. That's all I have.
I just want to welcome Tim. Welcome to
good
the
one.
team, Tim.
You guys are all hitting the right marks.
And,
Teamwork.
Jenny and team, great job with the employee handbook. So much work. And then the OSLAD grant is, just like Stephanie says, it's going to benefit us for years. And we're glad that we have you guys working on that for us. Really appreciate it.
I have nothing, Chris, to apply.
Yeah, great. I mean, I don't need to say anything more. The OSLAD grant was just tremendous, so I won't dwell on that. Just one last reminder, don't forget, I know it's been brought up, but we do have the community center, the Lacy Community Center opening 4 o'clock, I think, on Friday. Would love to see the public there to join us for that first hour. It's really exciting. It's a great facility, and I'm so pleased to be opening that this spring so we can actually use it again. It's wonderful. And it's already in use, but it's really a beautiful facility. So hope to see you there. All right. We will be going into, well, I'll be looking for a motion to go into executive session tonight. And we'd like to go into executive session for Personnel 5 ILCS 122C1. So I'll be looking for a motion to do that.
It's 7:05.
I so move.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Weber,
Yes.
Commissioner Veer,
Yes.
Commissioner Carter,
Yes?
Commissioner Posey,
Yes.
President Opeth.
Yes, okay, thank you. We won't be voting on anything afterwards, so thanks for coming tonight. You're welcome to wait if you want, but I wouldn't recommend it. Good night.
Staff, thank you. Have a good night, and I'll see you all in the morning. Drive safe.